Scott Dirks presiding. Thank you.
Please be seated. Good evening. Am I on here? We only do this once a month, so sometimes I forget. Good evening. My name is Scott Dirks, and I'm the municipal judge for the city of Stoughton and the towns of Dunkirk, Pleasant Springs, and Rutland. The city of Stoughton will appear in all matters this evening by Attorney Isaac Brodke. Before I begin calling cases, I want to go over some of the procedures we'll follow tonight and some of your rights as defendants. These procedures are also set forth on the form that was made available to you as you entered the courtroom. First, please turn off your cell phones. Second, this hearing is for initial appearances on the citations you received. This is not the time for a trial or telling me your side of what happened. When your case is called, please come up to the podium and remember to speak clearly. These proceedings are being recorded, so you need to answer your questions verbally, not by nodding or shaking your head. Tonight, I will ask you to enter a plea to the citation you were issued. Your plea options are not guilty, no contest, or guilty. A plea of guilty means that you admit whatever it is you are charged with doing. A plea of no contest means that while you do not admit doing anything unlawful, you do not wish to contest the matter. In many cases, Mr. Brodke will be in a position to make you an offer to resolve your case right here tonight. If you do not arrive at such an agreement, you should enter a plea of guilty or no contest. If you do arrive at such an agreement, you should enter a plea of guilty or no contest. Either way, guilty or no contest, I will find you guilty. I will then review the facts of your case to determine whether there is a factual basis for accepting the plea and give you an opportunity, if you wish, to tell me anything you feel is relevant to my decision. I will then impose a forfeiture. A forfeiture is a money penalty and can be anywhere from $20,000 to $10,000. though the vast majority will be in the range of $50 to $200. I'm also required to impose court costs, which will increase the total amount you must pay. I will automatically give you 30 days to pay your forfeiture. If you think you will need more time than that, please let me know right away, and we will set up a payment plan. Failure to timely pay your forfeiture can result in suspension of your driver's license, or referring the matter for debt collection, which you do not want to have happen. If you plead not guilty, I will schedule your case for trial. If you plead not guilty, I will schedule your case for a pre-trial conference with the city attorney. At that time, you can discuss your case with him and see if your case can be resolved without a trial. If it cannot be resolved, I'll schedule the matter for trial. You do have the right to have an attorney represent you in your case, but you must hire that attorney on your own. The public defender's office will not represent you. You also have the right to ask me for a continuance of your case if you need to consult with an attorney or for some other reason. Those of you who are charged with operating while intoxicated or a related offense have the right to a jury trial in circuit court in Madison. However, you must post jury fees within 10 days of the date of your plea. Trials on all other offenses will be heard by me, and you will have the right to appeal any decision I make in your case. Those of you who are charged with a traffic offense should bear in mind that in addition to having to pay a forfeiture if found guilty, the Division of Motor Vehicles may also impose demerit points against your license. If 12 or more points are assessed against your license in any 12-month period, your driving privileges will be suspended for a period of time. If you hold a probationary license, those points may be doubled. Finally, If your address changes at any time while your case is pending, you must notify the court in writing within 5 days of that change. And I will call the first case, who is going to be Richie Tao.
Welcome to Language Line Solutions. Please enter your 6-digit client ID. For Spanish, press 1. For other, press 2. Please speak the name of the desired language.
Hmong,
I understood. Hmong. If this is correct, say yes or press 1. If this, please enter access code followed by the pound. Please hold for an interpreter. Please continue to hold for the next available interpreter. Please continue to hold for the next available interpreter. Please continue to hold for the next available interpreter. Please continue to hold for the next available interpreter.
Okay. Mr. Tao.
his father understands some English.
Okay. Who's appearing with you?
My father.
Yeah, I'm Richie's father,
Okay.
and I want to say something before we go further. Richie has autism, and he doesn't understand
Okay.
where he wants something, he need to pay for it, and he grabbed
Sure.
some newspaper, and then we got caught.
Yeah, just hang on. First of all, could you state and spell your name for the record, sir?
My name?
Yes.
Yeah. Soma Tao, spelled S-A-O-M-A, and the last name T-H-A-O.
Okay. And can you understand me well enough to explain to your son what's going on right now?
Yes.
Okay. I don't want to go any further in this case without a certified interpreter. As you could tell, we're having some trouble getting somebody. And I regret the inconvenience, but we're going to have to reschedule this to a time where we can be sure we have an interpreter, so that your son understands exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
No, we don't need an interpreter.
No, I do.
Oh,
I
okay.
do.
So that should be okay. Then.
Yeah, I need to have an interpreter here because it's my responsibility to make sure everyone understands what's going on. Okay?
Okay, yeah.
What can we do? What's the
Unless
soonest?
he wants to schedule a
Yeah.
pre-trial and then they can do it by phone and
You-
you're able to get an interpreter on the line.
Yeah,
Okay.
Your Honor, if I may, I think that that's the cleanest way to do it, because before the call, I can sit and wait for the interpreter to come on.
All right, that's what we'll do. So, Mr. Tao, I'm going to enter a plea of not guilty for you. And then we're going to give you a piece of paper with a date and time to call Mr. Brodkey. He will get an interpreter lined up before your meeting, and it'll be on the phone. You don't have to go to his office. So you call him at the time we give you. He'll get an interpreter, and you can see if you can come to some kind of agreement to resolve the case, okay?
Okay.
I'm sorry we couldn't do this tonight. I apologize.
Yeah.
So, please call Mr. Brodkey at the date and time we just gave you. If you want to have your father in on the call, that's perfectly fine. But we'll get an interpreter so that we're sure everybody knows what's going on, okay?
Okay.
All right, that's all for tonight. Thank you. All right, next up, City versus Colby Thompson.
Perry.
Good evening, Your Honor.
Thompson's number 5. Perry is
That's a
number
2.
2.
Oh, that is a 5, I'm sorry.
That's my right.
Well, we've got
It's
him
okay.
here. Mr. Thompson, do you still live on Arugula Road in Madison?
Yes.
Oh, it's always on, just.
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
Yes, I do.
okay, great. And you're charged with speeding on a public highway at 25 miles per hour over the posted limit. Do you understand what the nature of the charge is?
Yes.
You're also charged with unsafe cutting while passing. Do you understand what that means?
Yes.
Mr. Brodkey, does the city have an offer at this time?
Your Honor, I spoke to Mr. Thompson briefly before initial appearances. I believe that this is best set for a pretrial next
Okay.
month.
That's fine. So what we're going to do is we'll give you a date and time to call Mr. Brodkey. You can discuss the case with him. In the meantime, I'm going to enter a plea of not guilty on your behalf. And you can see if you can get something worked out. If you do, you won't have to come back to court. If you don't get it resolved, then we'll schedule the matter for a trial, okay?
Okay. Thank you, Your
So,
Honor.
yep, don't leave until you get that sheet.
Okay. When the bailiff walks this way, I'll actually sneak up and go to the clerk.
That's for both of them.
Sounds good. Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
City versus Sean Perry.
Thank you.
Mr. Perry, your last name is spelled P-E-R-R-Y.
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor.
First name S-H-A-W-N.
That's correct.
And you live on Meadowbrook Lane in Richland Center.
I have to update that address. I think it is updated currently, but it's 165 Shado Lane in Monona.
Okay, slow down and please spell it for my clerk.
So that's 165 Shado, S is in Sam, H is in Henry, A, T like Tom, O, Lane in Monona, Wisconsin. Zip code is 53716.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. You're charged with speeding by a public highway 18 miles per hour over the posted limit. Do you understand what that means?
Yes, I hear you, Your Honor.
And does the city have an offer for the defendant tonight?
Your Honor, the city would be agreeable to amending the citation to 1 to 10 miles per hour over, carrying a $98.80 forfeiture.
And it would still be 4 points against your license. Do you understand that?
Your Honor, I believe it would be 3 points.
1 to 9 is 3.
I apologize.
Yeah.
In that case, 1 to 9.
Okay. So do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
And what would you like to do tonight?
I would like to plead guilty.
All right. I do find a factual basis for your plea. I'll find you guilty. Does the city have any further comment?
No, Your Honor.
And is there anything else you'd like to tell me?
Yeah, just a couple things. I am unfamiliar with the area. It was my first time driving that stretch of road. I did turn onto it, and looking back, I even took a lap around after I was pulled over. I did see that I missed posted speed signs, so I feel bad. I understand how serious it is. It's a danger to me and the public. I did make a bad mistake. I thought at the time I was just going with the flow of traffic, but clearly I was wrong. I was mistaken. So just seeing if there's any additional consideration there at all.
Well-
It was a reminder for me, a very good one.
Sure. And what you just agreed to is to have a reduction of the citation to a 3-point violation for, how much was it?
$98.80, which is about $30 less than the original
Right.
forfeiture.
And that is the minimum that I could impose.
Okay.
I mean, if you want a trial, we can give you a trial. I can withdraw your plea and we can set it on for trial.
No trial necessary. That's the
Okay.
minimum. I'm good with it.
All right. I'll accept your agreement. I will impose a forfeiture of $98.30 to the amended citation. Do you need more than 30 days to pay?
No, I do not.
Okay.
9880.
Oh, I'm sorry, 98.80. Okay, well, I'll give you 30 days, and we'll give you information on how to pay that.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Oh, yeah. City versus Ahmed Awadallah. Did I pronounce that correctly, sir?
Yes, you did.
Thank you. And Mr. Awadallah, is your name spelled Awadallah?
Yes,
Thank you. And do you still live on Highland Avenue in Phoenix, Arizona?
correct.
I'm sorry?
Yes,
Okay. You're charged with speeding by 19 miles per hour over the posted limit. Do you understand what that means?
yes.
Mr. Brodkey, does the city have an offer for the defendant?
Yes, Your Honor. I think that we can do 1 to 9 miles per hour over, a 3-point deduction, and then that $98.80 forfeiture.
Sir, how does that sound to you?
I was hoping for a 2-point reduction.
Pardon?
I was hoping for a 2-point reduction.
Well, if you want to discuss it with Mr. Brodkey further, that's fine. I can find you not guilty tonight. We can give you a pretrial date, and you can call him and see if you can bend his arm a little more.
Okay. I'm not actually staying in the area, Judge. I'm staying in Illinois.
Sure.
So I'm just working in the area, so just coming up here for
No.
the court
And I
hearing.
get it. If you do arrive at an agreement, you won't have to come back.
Okay.
If not, then we'll schedule the matter for a trial. It would be at least, what, 6 weeks or 8 weeks out?
At least.
Yeah, at least 8 weeks out, so you'd have plenty of time to make arrangements.
Okay.
But we've got a lot of people here tonight, so there isn't really an awful lot of time to do more haggling.
Sure, no problem.
I didn't circle it, it's 3:20.
So, give Mr. Brodkey a call.
Gotcha.
And see if you can come to an agreement. Okay?
Sounds good, thank you.
All right, thank you. Excuse me. Brittany Schochert? I know I didn't say that right.
Shuckert.
Shuckert?
You're kind of Shuckert. Yes.
Excellent, thank you.
You were close.
I apologize for that. All right, Ms. Shuckert, I have your name as being spelled Schoechert, is that correct?
That is correct.
And do you still live on Nygaard in Stoughton?
Yes.
All right. You have a citation for hit and run of property adjacent to the highway. That is, you hit some property adjacent to the highway and didn't stop to make contact with the owner of that property. Do you understand that?
Yes.
You're also charged with failure to notify the police of an accident. Do you understand that?
Yes.
You're also charged with failing to keep your vehicle under control. Do you understand what that means?
Yes.
And you are also charged with inattentive driving. Do you understand what that means?
Yes.
Mr. Brodkey, am I correct in assuming the city's not ready to extend an offer this evening?
Yeah, that's correct, Your Honor, but if I may, can I have a
Yeah, go
1
ahead.
second sidebar?
Yep, go ahead. Mr. Brodkey?
Yeah, Your Honor, the city's not in a position to extend an offer on any of this.
Okay. So how do you wish to plead? If you plead not guilty, I will give you a pretrial date, and you can try to talk further with Mr. Brodkey and see if you can work something out, or we can set it for trial. On the other hand, if you plead guilty or no contest to the citations, in all likelihood, I would impose, by way of forfeiture, the amounts that are shown on the citations. So how do you want to proceed tonight?
No contest, Your Honor.
To all 4 of them,
Yep.
all right? Mr. Brodkey, what's the city's position? Well, first let me read the report. Mr. Brodkey, in reading this report, it appears that there may be as much as $6,000 in restitution due. Do you know anything about that?
Your Honor, I'm not aware of what that restitution is. To the extent that it's claimed, I would ask that there be a restitution hearing.
Have we received
We've never
anything?
received a
Okay.
request.
We haven't received any request for restitution. And this occurred on the 4th of July. Ma'am, before I accept your pleas, I feel obliged to tell you that, as far as I can tell, you had no prior record before this. But if I find you guilty on all of these matters, you're going to have at least 8 points assessed against your driver's license. If you want to enter a plea of not guilty and see if you can work something out with Mr. Brodkey, I'll give you another chance. But if not, we can conclude this tonight.
Then let's go with the not guilty and we'll
Okay.
talk.
I'll accept your plea of not guilty. We'll give you a pretrial time to call Mr. Brodkey and see what you can work out. And again, if you don't come to an agreement, that's fine. We'll set the matter on for trial, and it'll probably be at least 8 weeks out. So give him a call at that date and time and see if you can work something out, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. City versus Marilyn Schuler. Did I pronounce that correctly? Yes. Thank you. And Ms. Schuler, is your name spelled S-C-H-U-L-E-R?
Yes.
And you still live on Dewey Street in Oregon?
Yes.
Excuse me. You're charged with operating motor vehicle with suspended driving privileges. Do you understand what that means?
Yes.
Do you know what you need to do to get your driving privileges reinstated?
I already did the day after. I already did the day after I found out my license was suspended.
Okay. Can you show your license to Mr. Brodkey?
I do.
Yeah.
And also, I was talking that I did not know that there was supposed to reinstate my license. I feel really
Sure.
stupid. It was not for like a DUI, it was just for speeding, and I paid the ticket, and then I didn't know I was supposed to go back. And I was driving without a license for ever.
Well, but now you're back,
But now
so
I'm back.
it's
I
all
had no
good.
idea.
It's all good.
Okay.
You don't need to apologize. Your Honor, the defendant has produced evidence that she has a driver's license. The city moves to dismiss the citation.
All right, fantastic.
Thank you.
Ma'am, and for all the rest of you that may be charged with operating while suspended, it is my policy, and I believe the city's as well, that we want people who don't have valid driving privileges to get their privileges reinstated. And we'll work with people to accomplish that. So I'm really glad you took care of this right away.
I just wanted to say that I did not know that I had to reinstate my driver's license at the DMV. I didn't know I was driving without a license for over a year.
Yeah, and I know of the ways where that can happen. But anyway, you took care of
Yep.
it. Great, so dismissed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This next one needs a translator or two. So we'll get them on the line and hopefully
Okay.
a little quicker.
City versus Carly Landero Ortuno.
Welcome to Language Line Solutions. Please enter your 6-digit client ID. For Spanish, press 1. Please enter access code followed by...
Thank you for calling Language Line Solutions. This is Ramon, ID number 225438. I'll be your Spanish interpreter today. How may I be of assistance?
This is Judge Scott Dirks, municipal judge for the city of Stoughton. And we have called you to interpret for a defendant here tonight who needs interpretation between Spanish and English. So, could you raise your right hand, please?
Sure, no problem.
All right. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will truly interpret from the English language to the Spanish language and from the Spanish to the English languages a true and accurate interpretation of what is said?
I affirm.
All right. Thank you. And Ms. Ortuno Landero, did I pronounce your name correctly? Interpreter?
Buenas tardes, yo estaré apoyando en la línea como el intérprete, solo para que esté al tanto todo lo que diga será interpretado, mantenido confidencial. Solo para confirmar, su nombre se pronunciaría Ortuno Landero.
Yes.
Can you understand what the interpreter is saying?
¿Sí comprende lo que le está indicando el intérprete?
Sí. Yes.
Okay. Maybe pull the microphone a little closer so he can hear you better too,
Okay.
please.
Si tal vez puede acercar el micrófono más a su boca para poder escucharla más claramente, por favor.
And ma'am, do you still live on Island Drive in the city of Madison?
¿Aún está viviendo usted en Island Drive de la ciudad de Madison?
Sí.
Yes.
Thank you. And you are charged with operating a motor vehicle while suspended, meaning that while you were driving, your Wisconsin driving privileges were under suspension. Do you understand that?
Sí, entonces solo para repasar, se le está acusando usted de haber conducido un vehículo motorizado con la licencia suspendida. Es decir, que mientras usted conducía, los privilegios de conducir dentro de Wisconsin se encontraban suspendidos. ¿Es claro eso?
Sí, no había solicitado mi licencia. No tengo licencia.
Yeah, I had not solicited my driver's license. I don't have a driver's license.
Okay. You are also charged with speeding on a public highway by 17 miles per hour over the posted limit. Do you understand that?
Adicionalmente, el otro cargo del que se le está acusando viene siendo exceso de velocidad sobre la vía pública. Usted llevaba un exceso de velocidad de 17 millas por hora sobre el límite establecido.
Sí.
Yes.
And Mr. Brodkey, for interpreter, I'm addressing the city attorney who's also in court. Mr. Brodkey, does the city have an offer for the defendant tonight?
Your Honor, on the speeding citation, the city.
Hang on. Could the interpreter please interpret my question to the city attorney for the defendant?
Could you repeat that question for me once again, Judge?
Sure. Mr. Brodkey, does the city have an offer for the defendant this evening?
Señor Brodkey, ¿acaso la ciudad tiene alguna oferta para el acusado esta noche?
And Mr. Brodkey is going to answer.
Your Honor, the city, regarding the speeding citation, is willing to offer 11 to 15 miles per hour over. That is still a 4-point penalty and a $98.80 forfeiture.
And what about the operating while suspended citation? I'm sorry, let me back up. Could the interpreter please interpret the response from Mr. Brodkey?
And I'm sorry, Judge, Mr. Bradkey's response is just a bit low in volume. Would you be able to repeat his statement just a little bit louder, please?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The city is willing to offer 11 miles per hour over the posted speed limit, which is a 3-point penalty and a $98.80 forfeiture.
Interpreter?
Sí, correcto. Por parte de la ciudad está dispuesta a ofrecer una multa de 11 millas por hora por encima del límite de velocidad solicitado, lo que se supone a una multa de 3 puntos y una pérdida de 98 dólares con 80 centavos.
And then, Mr. Bradkey, what would the city propose to do with the operating while suspended citation? Interpreter?
Señor Bradkey, ¿qué está dispuesto a ofrecer la ciudad o proponer la ciudad en referencia al otro cargo de operar vehículo mientras estar bajo una licencia suspendida?
One moment, please.
Okay, the defendant would like to say something.
It's okay. No había solicitado mi licencia porque yo estaba esperando mi ID, que aún no había llegado, pero con mis...
Perdón, ¿puede hablar más fuerte?
Okay. Okay. No había solicitado licencia por lo que acabo de llegar a este país y aún mi ID no había llegado, pero con mi legalidad yo fui a investigar nuevamente al DMV y me dieron el permiso de poder sacar mi licencia, así que yo hice mi examen teórico y lo aprobé, pero el DMV no me permite dármelo por el cargo que tengo acá en la corte. Entonces quisiera ver si me pudieran permitir obtener la licencia o no sé qué poder hacer.
Yes, so I had not requested my license initially because I had just moved to this country. I had gone to the DMV and completed a proof test. That exam was completed and approved, but I have not been able to move forward with obtaining the license because of the charge that I have pending through the court. So I'm not sure if I have some sort of, what could we do about that, or is there something that could be offered for me as an option regarding that?
Okay. Mr. Bradkey, what does the city propose? Interpreter?
Señor Bradkey, ¿qué se propone por parte de la ciudad?
We can hold the license citation open for 2 months to allow the defendant to provide proof of reinstatement or process toward there, and upon sufficient proof that she has operating privileges, the city would dismiss that citation.
Okay. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm sorry, interpreter, could you please interpret that for the defendant?
Entonces lo que nosotros podemos hacer es avanzar a retener la citación de la licencia y que permanezca abierta para permitir que el acusado proporcione prueba de reinstalación en relación a la licencia, con pruebas suficientes de que ya cuenta con privilegios de operación. Ya después de eso, la ciudad pudiera avanzar a desestimar la citación.
Okay. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to enter a plea of not guilty for you on both of these citations. Sir?
Sí, entonces yo estaré haciendo lo siguiente. Voy a estar presentando lo que es una declaración de no culpabilidad para usted en referencia a ambas citaciones.
And I'm going to give you time to call Mr. Brodkey to see if you can work out an agreement resolving these cases, okay?
Adicionalmente, le voy a estar dando tiempo adicional a usted para que logre comunicarse con el señor Bradkey para ver qué puede usted solucionar en referencia a un acuerdo en relación a la resolución de estos casos.
And he will make sure that he has a Spanish-English interpreter for that conversation, okay?
Es que por parte de Mr. Bradkey, él se encargará de contar con un intérprete que le podrá traducir de español a inglés en relación a la conversación que va a ocurrir con usted.
And if you do arrive at an agreement, you will not have to come back to court, okay?
Si en dado caso logran ustedes establecer un acuerdo, ya no será necesario después regresar a corte de nuevo.
Do you have any questions?
¿Tienen alguna duda o pregunta?
It's okay.
Okay.
Sorry, 1 second.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
It's gonna be a minute.
El señor es el señor de acá del lado. Con él es el que tengo que hacer el acuerdo. ¿En qué momento podría hacerlo?
When would I be making this arrangement?
September 11th at 3:40 p.m. she'll be calling.
On September 11th at 3:40 in the afternoon, you can call Mr. Brodkey on the phone. Is that a time that works for you?
Entonces el día septiembre, 11 de septiembre a las 3:40 usted podrá llamar por teléfono al señor Bradkey. ¿Qué le parece ese día y horario? ¿Sería algo conveniente para usted?
La hora, perdón.
And you said what time, sir?
3:40?
A las 3:40.
3:40. Okay.
Is that okay?
It's okay.
Okay. De acuerdo.
Sí, entonces, mientras tanto, no puedo solicitar mi licencia. Porque
Okay, so for the meantime, I still won't be able to request my license.
Driver's DOT does not have these records until she's found guilty.
Right, but it's pending. That's why she can't get a license. So for the time being, you probably cannot get your license until this is taken care of.
Entonces, por el momento, lo más probable es que usted aún no podrá avanzar a obtener la licencia hasta que esto quede resuelto.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Una disculpa.
Okay.
So,
Thank you so much.
sure, call Mr. Brodkey and see if you can get it straightened out, okay?
Logre comunicarse con el señor Bradkey para ver si él puede apoyar con resolucionar esto para usted.
Okay.
Do you need to drive to get to work or something like that?
¿Acaso usted necesita conducir para lograr llegar al trabajo o algo así?
Sí,
Yeah.
no tengo ninguna manera de ir al trabajo más que conduciendo porque no tengo nadie más acá en este país, menos en esta ciudad. Entonces no tengo ninguna forma de movilizarme al trabajo más que yo conduciendo.
Yeah, so truly, I have no other way of getting to work unless it's driving, and this is because I don't have a support system through any other person in this country or in the city.
She was found
Okay.
guilty, and those are the
Yeah.
ones.
Can you talk to her sooner?
Yeah, Your Honor, if it works, I can talk to her tomorrow.
Okay. Interpreter?
Si funciona, señor Bradkey indica que él puede hablar con usted más pronto, el día de mañana, si es algo que funcione para usted.
Okay.
Okay.
What time works best?
¿Qué horario es más conveniente para usted?
De 11 de mañana a 2 de la tarde.
Anywhere between 11 and 2.
11:15.
¿Qué le parece 11:15?
Okay.
Perfecto.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Good luck.
Does she know she needs to?
Buena suerte.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, thank you, interpreter.
Thank you for using our services. You have a good evening.
You too. Okay, that was the only one we had, right?
Correct.
Okay. City versus Samuel Martin. You're Mr. Martin?
Yes, I am.
And do you live on Orchard Drive in Oregon?
I currently do not have a permanent resident of address. I'm currently staying with a friend. I'm planning on moving into a duplex in Madison end of the month.
End of this month?
End of this month, correct.
Okay. What's your friend's address where you're staying right now?
1717 Chapin Lane here in Stoughton.
Chapman?
Chaplin, yeah.
Okay. Okay, we're going to use your friend's address for now.
Okay.
Once you get a new address, if your case is still pending, be sure you let us know right away.
Okay.
All right, you're charged with operating a vehicle that is improperly registered or expired registration. Do you understand what that means?
Yes, I do.
Do you have the vehicle registered now?
I do. I have the stickers right here.
Fantastic.
There should be in there. Sorry.
Mr. Brodkey?
That works for the city, and we'd move to dismiss the citation.
All right, I will dismiss your citation. You do need to keep your address updated with DMV, though.
Okay.
So once you get your new place where you're going to live, make sure you let DMV know.
Okay, yeah. It was just all of a sudden we got kicked out, that's all.
No, I get it, I get it. So your citation's dismissed. We'll give you a copy of the judgment, and then you can go.
All right, sounds good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
You too. City versus James Wade. Is it Wade or Wadey?
Wade.
Okay, great, thank you. You just pull your file up, sir. Mr. Wade, do you still live on Beltline Highway in Fitchburg?
Yes.
You're charged with failure to yield right-of-way. Do you understand what that means?
No, not really.
Okay. It means that you didn't properly yield a right-of-way under whatever circumstances were involved. There are rules of the road that require some vehicles to yield to others. And the city is saying that in this particular circumstance, you didn't do that.
Could I say something?
Well, just hang on,
Okay.
not yet.
Okay.
Yep. I need to let you know that if you're convicted of this matter, in addition to any fine that you may be ordered to pay, you also have to go through a driver safety failure to yield right-of-way class. And if you don't do that within a certain period of time, your license will be suspended. Mr. Brodkey, does the city have an offer for Mr. Wade?
Your Honor, the city's willing to amend the citation to failure to obey officer sign or signal contrary to statute section 364.04 sub 1. It's my understanding that does not require the right-of-way class, and that would be a 3-point deduction.
Okay.
Can you repeat the statute?
Sure.
I'm not finding.
Yep, 364.04. Excuse me, I know why you can't find it. I have it wrong. 346.04 sub 1.
Thank you.
And what would the city be recommending by way of a forfeiture?
$98.80.
Okay. Mr. Wade, do you understand what the city is offering you?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay. And what would you like to do?
Well, I was gonna plead not guilty, but I'd just rather go and get it over with. Be
Well,
done with it.
do you want to accept the
Yes,
city's
yes.
offer is what I'm asking?
Oh,
I'm
yes,
sorry.
yes.
Okay. Let me just check the reports for a factual basis. All right, Mr. Wade, I do find a factual basis for your plea and for the city's proposed amendment. I will amend it as proposed by the city. I'll find you guilty. Before I impose a forfeiture, is there anything else you want to tell me?
Oh, about me
You
not
don't have to
guilty.
tell me anything, but if you want to, I'm listening.
Oh, but the car was like 3 or 4 cars away, so I don't really see why I had to yield for. I was at a stop sign, and I was making a left turn, and the car was coming straight, and the car was a ways away. So I don't really see why I had to sit and wait.
Yeah, it's a tricky intersection. I'm very familiar with it, but that's the way the law is. If you're at a stop sign and the other vehicle is coming, it has right of way under that circumstance.
True, right.
So I will impose a forfeiture and costs totaling $98.80. I'm assuming DMV is going to assess 3 points against your license then. Do you need more than 30 days to pay that?
No, sir.
Is he entering a not guilty plea? I didn't get it.
Oh, I'm sorry. He entered a plea of guilty to the amended citation, correct?
Right, correct, yes.
Okay, we'll give you a copy of the judgment and then you can head out. That'll give you information on how to pay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Julie Holmes. City versus Julie Holmes. Ms. Holmes, do you still live on Pinion Trail in Oregon?
Yes.
I'm sorry, could you speak?
Yes.
Okay.
Excuse me.
You're charged with retail theft. That means that you took property held out for resale by a merchant without attempting to pay for that property without the merchant's permission. Do you understand what that means?
Yes.
And Mr. Brodke, I can tell you that the victim is requesting restitution in the amount of $27.40. It appears that Ms. Holmes posted bond already.
And they also sent me from their PRA law firm restitution of $325.
I'm sorry?
I also paid $325 to a PRA law firm requesting, what do you call it, restitution
Okay.
monies. I have my check here if you'd like to see it. And I also sent a check to Goodwill for a donation of $175.
Mr. Bradkey?
Your Honor, this is maybe a little more difficult than ordinary. I don't think, based off of what I see for the report, that the citation should be dismissed. But I think that we can factor in the restitution, assuming that has been paid to the requesting party, to the forfeiture amount. So I think that the city would be willing to amend the forfeiture to $124.
Is that the city's proposal for tonight? Yeah, right. I think what I would prefer to do is set this on for a restitution hearing, because the initial information the court received was $27.40. And I'm hearing the defendants say now that their representative is requesting over $300. And
I did.
I'd like to get more information about that before I make any kind of a decision. So we will set this on for a restitution hearing. We'll notify Goodwill Industries of that hearing. And ma'am, just so you understand, in very broad brush terms, what will happen there is they'll have to convince me as to how much money you're supposed to pay them in restitution. That doesn't have anything to do with the forfeiture that you've already posted. For the time being, I'm going to enter a plea of not guilty on that.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's probably the easiest thing to do at this point. So I'm finding you not guilty on the citation. You've already posted the bond, so the clerk will hang on to that for the time being. It may be it'll all get refunded, or part of it will get refunded. I don't know. I need to find out more of what's going on. But
Could I add one thing?
well,
This,
you may or may not want to.
I may not want to.
I don't really
But-
want to hear anything about the facts of the case at this point.
Okay. I'm bipolar, and I was having kind of a manic attack, but that has
Sure,
nothing
and
to
that,
do with
and that,
this.
that might be relevant
And I
at
did,
some point.
but-
Sure. And I'm not saying I don't want to let you speak your piece, but for tonight, it's probably best we don't go into that.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
So we'll give you written notice of a restitution hearing, or do you want us to mail it
We'll
out?
have to mail it.
Okay, we'll have to mail it out to you, and we do have your
Okay.
correct address on Pinion Trail, right?
Right.
Okay.
You
So
don't
watch.
need this where it went through?
Just bring all that
Yes.
to the
Okay.
restitution hearing.
Bring
Okay.
any documentation you want. We'll send you written notice, so keep an eye on the mail and make sure that you do show up when the hearing is set.
All right.
If you don't, I'll have to assume that you don't want to contest anything anymore.
That won't
Okay?
happen.
Okay, then that's fine, that's
Yeah.
fine. So at that point, then you'll be able to tell me whatever you think is relevant, okay?
Okay, I will do that. Thank
Okay.
you, sir.
Thank you.
Is it on the very last page?
Of course it is.
Only one more page 9.
Oh, sorry. Amari Young, City versus Amari Young. And Ms. Young, your last name's spelled Y-O-U-N-G, correct?
Yes,
And you live on Edgerton Road in Edgerton?
yes,
Thank you. And you are charged with speeding by 14 miles per hour over the posted limits. Do you understand what that means?
I do.
And does the city have an offer for Ms. Young this evening?
Your Honor, the city's willing to amend it to 1 to 9 miles per hour over.
I'm sorry, 1 to 9?
Yep, and carrying a $98.80 forfeiture and a 3-point deduction.
Okay. Do you understand what that means, ma'am?
Yes.
And how do you want to plead?
No contest.
Okay. I will find a factual basis for your plea. Does the city have any further comment?
No, Your Honor.
And Ms. Young, is there anything you want to tell me before I pass sentence?
I was never made aware of the speed I was going during the traffic stop.
How fast the officer found you going?
Yes.
Okay. They don't have to tell you that.
Oh, okay.
Oddly enough, most people think they do, but they don't. I can tell you that according to the citation, you were traveling at 39 miles per hour in a 25-mile zone.
Okay, thank you.
Okay? So I will adopt the city's recommendation. I'll find you guilty to the amended citation. I'll impose a forfeiture and costs totaling $98.80. Do you need more than 30 days to pay that?
No.
Okay. We'll give you a written copy of the written copy of the judgment, and that'll have information on how to pay.
Okay.
So as soon as you get that, you can go. All right, City versus Isabella Lippi. Did I pronounce your last name correct?
Yes.
Okay, and it's Lippi?
Yes.
And you live on North Madison Street in Stoughton?
Yes.
Thank you. You're charged with speeding by 18 miles per hour over the posted limit. Do you understand what that means?
Yes.
Mr. Brodke, does the city have an offer?
Your Honor, I think we're willing to go 11 to 15. And that's still a 4-point deduction and $98.80 forfeiture.
Okay. Ms. Lippi, do you understand what that means?
Yes. I was hoping for 3 points, but that's okay. That's
Well,
why I was hoping.
If you want to accept that offer tonight, that's fine. We can take care of it tonight. If you want to discuss it further with Mr. Brodke, I can find you not guilty for tonight and give you a date and time for a telephone pretrial conference, and you can talk with him further. What would you like to do?
Okay.
Okay, to what?
I can talk to him further
Okay.
to try to make it a little lower.
All right, I'll enter a not guilty plea on your behalf, and we will give you written notice of a pretrial conference with a date and time to call.
Okay.
So you don't have to go to his office, you just have to call him.
Okay.
Be sure you do that, because if you don't, then he's going to assume that you don't want to contest the matter in any way, and when the case is next called, in all likelihood, I would find you guilty and impose the forfeiture that's on the citation.
Great.
Okay?
Okay.
So hang tight, and as soon as you get that, you can take off.
Okay. Thanks.
Santana Rosado, City versus Santana Rosado. Did I pronounce your name correctly, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And I don't mean to be rude or anything, but do you speak English okay?
Yes.
All right. If you need an interpreter, and that goes for everybody, if you need an interpreter, let us know and we'll try to do that. But you don't need one?
No.
Okay, thanks. Mr. Rosado, do you still live on 5th Street in Stoughton?
Yes.
Okay. And you are charged with speeding by 14 miles per hour over the posted limits. Do you understand what that means?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Brodkey, does the city have an offer?
Your Honor, the city's willing to amend it to 1 to 9 miles per hour over. That's a 3-point deduction and $98.80 forfeiture.
And Mr. Rosado, do you want to take advantage of the city's offer?
Actually, I don't know exactly how I'm supposed to be. I was gonna please because I wanted to explain exactly the situation, so I'm not sure if I had to please no contest or not guilty.
Okay. If you want to have some time to talk to Mr. Brodkey and see if you can work a different arrangement out, that's fine.
Okay.
I would enter a plea of not guilty on your behalf. We'll give you a date and time to call him, and you can explain to him whatever you want. This really isn't the time to tell me, you know, your side of things. It may be that we'll end up having to have a trial, and that's fine.
Okay.
And then I would hear all of that then.
Okay.
But for tonight, we're really just, excuse me, we're really just dealing with pleas, okay?
Okay.
So, do you want to have a chance to talk to the city attorney again?
Yes, please.
Okay. I'll find that you pleading not guilty then, and we'll give you written notice of a pretrial date. And if the two of you can get things worked out, you won't have to come back, and if not, then we'll set it on for a trial, okay?
Thank you.
All right, thank you. City versus Joshua Belain.
Thank you.
Did I pronounce your name correctly, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Belain, is your last name spelled B-A-L-A-I-N-E?
Correct.
And do you still live on Estate Lane in Stoughton?
Yes.
All right. Sir, you're charged with speeding by 18 miles per hour over the posted limits. Do you understand what that means?
I do.
Mr. Brodkey, does the city have an offer?
Yes, Your Honor. The city's willing to amend it to 1 to 9 miles per hour over, a 3-point deduction, and a $98.80 forfeiture.
And Mr. Belain, is that an offer that you would like to accept, or do you want to do something differently?
I accept.
Okay. And how do you plead?
No contest.
All right. I do find a factual basis for your plea. Does the city have any further comment?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Belain, is there anything you want to tell me before I pass sentence?
It's cold in here.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Anything else?
No.
Okay, I can't do anything about the thermostat, unfortunately. All right, I will find you guilty, or did find you guilty. I'll impose a forfeiture of $98.80 inclusive of costs. I'll give you 30 days to pay that. Do you need more than 30 days?
No.
Okay. We'll give you a written copy of the judgment with information on how to pay that. And once you get that, you're free to leave.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. City versus Joy Liu. Ms. Liu, your last name is spelled L-O-U?
Correct.
And you still live on Nygaard Street in Stoughton.
Yes.
And Ms. Liu, you are charged with speeding by 10 miles per hour over the posted limits. Do you understand what that means?
Yes.
And does the city have an offer for Ms. Liu?
Your Honor, the city does not have an offer beyond what's stated in the citation.
Okay. Given that, Ms. Liu, how would you like to plead tonight?
Not guilty.
Okay. I will enter a plea of not guilty. We will give you a pre-trial date so that you can talk to Mr. Brodkey if you want to. You don't have to. If you can work something out, you won't have to come back. If not, that's fine. We will set the matter on for a trial, and we would mail notice for the trial, correct?
For a trial, yes.
Yeah. Right, so if you don't get things worked out, Mr. Brodkey will let us know that. We'll then mail out notice of trial to you.
Okay.
And then I'll hear whatever you have to say. If you have any witnesses that you want to call, it's your responsibility to get them here. That isn't something that the city will do or that I will do, okay?
May I ask a question?
Sure.
What are the points if it stands the way it is now?
Right now, it's a 3-point ticket.
3? Oh, I guess I was thinking it was 4, because I'm a little more concerned about my points. Can I change that, or does that stand now?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Can I change that to guilty, or does that stand the way it is now?
No. If you want to plead guilty, you can do that.
Okay, yeah, I was concerned that my points were going to be more, so I will change to guilty.
Okay. Mr. Brodkey, does the city have anything further that it wants to say?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Ma'am, do you have anything you want to tell me before I pass sentence?
No.
Okay. Well, I have something I'm going to tell you. I'm
Okay.
looking at your driving record.
Yeah.
You've really got to be a lot more careful. Not only because you're in danger of losing your license, but if you do, and you keep driving, you'll be an uninsured driver, an unlicensed driver, and none of us wants to see that happen.
I know.
But even more importantly, the speed limits are there for a reason. It's to keep everybody safe while we're driving these 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 pound torpedoes around on the streets. So I don't normally lecture people about speeding, but I'm looking at your record and it kind of seems like maybe you need a reminder here that you've got to be more careful, okay?
I know. May I
Sure.
say something? Not that it makes any difference, but I am fairly new to Stoughton. But I exchanged speeding tickets for OWIs. So I have been sober for 5 years. Unfortunately, my foot is a little heavy, so yeah.
Right. I see that within the last 2 years, you've gotten at least 2 other speeding tickets.
Yep.
Sorry,
yep.
three other speeding tickets. So I think you got to be a lot more careful than maybe most people do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Cruise control is my best friend now.
Okay. Well, on residential streets, that's probably not a very good idea. You just have to be more careful.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right.
I did give this to him. He said that if he had questions or...
Oh, yeah. Okay. Thank you. Cooper Manti. Sir, did I pronounce your last name correctly?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I think the tickets are at the end. They put it in the reverse orders.
All 40 pages of it.
EDL.
just trying to find the actual citations here, sir. Hang on a second. Okay. Mr. Manti, do you still live on Kaling Drive in McFarland?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. You're charged, first of all, with speeding on a public highway by 18 miles per hour over the posted limits. Do you understand what that means?
Yes.
You're also charged with operating while intoxicated as a first offense. Do you understand what that means?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you're further charged with operating a motor vehicle with a prohibited blood alcohol concentration greater than 0.15. Do you understand what that means?
Yes.
And have you spoken with Mr. Brodke with the City Attorney's Office about possible resolution of this matter?
I have not.
How do you wish to plead tonight?
I'd like to plead guilty.
Okay. Have you looked at the copy of the plea questionnaire that was given to you when you came to court this evening?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have any questions about that?
I do not.
Okay. Do you understand that if I find you guilty to all three of these citations, you're going to have to pay forfeitures in the amount of $961, inclusive of costs on the operating while intoxicated, as well as $124 on the speeding citation.
I am aware.
I will have to revoke your driving privileges for at least 6 months. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
You will also have to have installed at your expense an ignition interlock device. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Do you understand that any maintenance or rental fees that may be associated, that will also be your responsibility?
Yes, Your Honor.
That's going to run you several $1,000s is what I'm getting around to.
I'm more than well aware.
Okay. And that doesn't even touch the insurance ramifications or anything else?
No.
Okay. Did you fill out the plea questionnaire that was given to you?
I have not.
Okay. One thing I haven't asked you is if you have any other operating while intoxicated cases pending anywhere else in the United States right now.
Nothing pending. I received one when I was 21, so over 11 years ago.
Mr. Brodke, does that jibe with the information you have?
Yeah, Your Honor, that's why I was just checking it. I see one from 2013.
So this is still a first?
That's my understanding.
Okay. Right. So here's another thing you need to understand. It's a weird law we have in this state, but a first offense in Wisconsin is not a criminal matter. So the only penalties that attach are revocation and money penalties. If you get another operating while intoxicated conviction 10 or more years after a first offense, that next one still counts only as a first offense. But if you ever get another operating while intoxicated conviction, ever, in Wisconsin it'll be a third offense, and then you're looking at some fairly significant minimum jail time, as well as huge fines.
I am aware, and the night that this happened, I had quite several hours to speak with the officers, and they filled me in and made me well aware of any further OWIs and the penalties and jail time, etc., that would be imposed.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go over this just to be sure that I'm satisfied you understand what you're doing here. Do you understand that you have the right to consult with and be represented by an attorney at your own expense in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand that you can ask me for a new court date for any reason, to find a new lawyer, to think about this more? Do you understand all of that?
Yes.
Do you understand that you can post jury fees and have the case heard before a judge in Madison and a jury? Do you understand that?
I do.
You understand that if I find you guilty, that you're going to be ordered to pay forfeitures, you're going to have to complete an alcohol and other drug assessment, and complete any treatment that may be recommended as a result of that assessment.
I do.
Do you understand that your driver's license is going to be revoked for a period of time?
Yes, sir.
You probably would be eligible to apply for an occupational license right away, but there will be restrictions on when and where you can drive. Do you understand that?
Yes.
And there was a test, so there was no refusal, correct?
That's my understanding.
Okay. Well, I'd like you to fill out that plea questionnaire we just went over on the record, most of it, but I want you to enter the plea that you're going to enter and answer the questions that are on that form, and then sign and date it for me, please.
Okay.
While you're doing that, I'll review the reports for a factual basis. Mr. Brodke, it's my understanding that the breath test yielded a result of 0.18. Do you agree with that?
That's what I see, Your Honor.
All right. And what does the city recommend by way of penalty? First of all, I'll find you guilty. I do find a factual basis for the entry of your pleas.
Also need to sign.
Mr. Brodke?
Your Honor, the city recommends, well, there's 6 points associated with either offense. The city recommends a 8-month revocation period, an AODA class, and then the forfeiture of $835. I believe that there's the IID surcharge of $50, and then the installment of a IID for 12 months.
And on the speeding citation?
The city has no position other than what's stated on the citation, which I believe is 124.
Okay.
This is specifying which citation it's your OWI, so
Right.
which one you will be charging him with.
Right. Sir, is there anything you want to tell me before I pass sentence?
A few things, Your Honor. I'm extremely embarrassed, and I'm very sorry. It's completely irresponsible for me to be under the influence behind the wheel. I thought after my first years ago that I would have learned my lesson, but I'm extremely embarrassed, and I'm going to do everything to make this right and never drive intoxicated behind the wheel ever again.
All right, well, I hope that's what happens, because, as I told you just as it affects you, you're looking at some enormous financial consequences for this. And if there's ever another one of these, ever in your life, frankly, I mean, that's how the law is written right now. It'll be a third offense, and you're going to be looking at least a few months in the county jail. Now, the other thing that really concerns me is, you know, thankfully there wasn't an accident, you didn't hit anybody, but you had a passenger in the vehicle. So you're not only endangering your own life, you're endangering your passenger's life, you're endangering the lives of anybody that you may have crashed into. I mean, drunk drivers crash into houses, for Pete's sake. All right. Well, I'm going to adopt the city's recommendations as to penalties. First of all, with respect to the operating with a prohibited blood alcohol concentration, I'm going to order a forfeiture of $835. I'm going to impose a $50 ignition interlock fee. You will be responsible for any other fees that may result from that, and there will be some. I'm also going to order that your driving privileges be revoked for a period of 8 months. I will order that you undergo an alcohol and other drug assessment and comply with any treatment that may be recommended as a result of that assessment. All of that should be spelled out on the order that I've signed. You'll be required to sign that as well, acknowledging that you understand it. I will order that any vehicle that you operate, any vehicle that is titled in your name, be equipped with an ignition interlock for a period of 12 months. And again, that will be at your expense. With respect to the speeding citation, I'll order a forfeiture and costs totaling $124. Now, I'm assuming that you're probably going to need more than 30 days to pay what's now over $1,000 in forfeiture and costs. How much do you think you can pay each month?
I think I can pay the full amount.
I'm happy to give you more time than a month.
I really appreciate that, but I've been working a lot of overtimes, especially since this happened. So I'm prepared to pay the full.
Okay. I'll give you 30 days. If you find you need more, please contact my clerk as soon as possible so that we can set up a payment plan, because on top of everything else, you don't want to have the consequences that can come with not paying your forfeitures.
I got myself in quite a hole.
Yeah, well, and I appreciate that you seem to understand that. Please don't do this again, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Will you dismiss the second OWI? How should I handle that? Because I have to know.
Oh, sure. Yeah, and I'll dismiss the operating while intoxicated citation.
Second.
So, he's guilty on the BAC, dismiss
So they
the
were both
OWI.
issued as OWI, but,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. Do you have any questions, sir?
As far as the interlock, do I get information from the courthouse here?
I have it all here
Okay,
for you. Just
okay.
2 minutes.
Yep.
Your Honor, I work in Milwaukee. I'm a plumber currently, so I drive quite a bit. I know I'll be limited on hours, hourly or daily and weekly, but I do travel for work, so getting an occupational license is priority for me.
Sure. That's something between you and DMV. I
Okay.
don't have any control over how all of that works.
Okay.
Okay. Be sure you tell them that you have to travel through more than one county. I don't know that that necessarily makes any difference, but it might.
Okay.
Do you ever have to work out of state?
Not currently.
Well, I would talk with them about that as well.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
City versus Samantha Carney. Ms. Carney, is your last name spelled C-A-R-N-E-Y?
Yes,
And you still live on Main Street in Poinette?
correct.
And you are charged with operating a motor vehicle without insurance. Do you understand what that means?
Yes, and I have insurance, so I'm just hoping to show him before my phone dies.
Okay. And you're also charged with displaying an unauthorized registration plate on your vehicle.
As well as I registered my vehicle.
Okay.
No, okay. I'll just look at this real quick, and then I'll wait for you. Okay. Yeah, you're right. You are. Yeah, you are right.
It was dangerous.
There you go. Glad you didn't. So where's your car? Just so I can see that.
It's the liability, it's liability insurance.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Oh,
I need to see that car information. Make sure it's the right one.
Just, or,
So Timothy Carney.
that's my husband.
Husband. Okay. Where's the actual car?
I know it's on here.
Sorry. Okay. Is there something on the actual house number? So this is your insurance provider.
Mhm.
Okay, and you're telling me that this is this does cover your car.
Yeah, this is my homeowner's insurance.
Got
You
it.
can add
And
it right to your,
and so you attached it to your.
yeah, $61 for the year. I didn't realize it was.
Yeah, that's not bad. Okay. So got that. So
Okay.
you can save your phone battery.
Thank you. I was at 2%, it was dangerous.
Okay, Mr. Brodkey?
So I'm looking at this. This is different than.
So, yeah, okay, so this car,
Yeah.
I think he was on the
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah, I think some people came in. Well, I have three. One was Garvey, Bingham, and Pismo.
Bingham?
I think some people came in after that.
What was the other one?
Garvey, Bingham, and Pismo.
K?
I'm not sure. I haven't even had a minute. I was told during court the names. So, let me just see if I can find them.
That can't be
Looks like
right.
it's-
Okay, let me just.
Find out when I didn't speak with her.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Your Honor, may I speak to Detective DeVicci for a second?
Sure.
Here, will you take this with you? Because he'll understand more then. It's my reference number for the.
Would you do me a favor and ask if the gentleman, looks like with an attorney, is set for the hearing at 6? Because we had it set for a Zoom call. And
I don't have that car.
Vera, Andrew Vera.
Okay. Sir, which case are you here for?
Oh, for Mr. Vera.
Okay.
I'm going to have them cancel the Zoom. They're set for you to call in, so I want to make sure they cancel
Okay.
that.
Okay. I apologize. We've got a really long docket tonight, so, okay.
Mr. Hammis is here also in the back. He's set for 6 p.m. It's canceled. He's here. So just, yeah. Thank you, Spencer.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do all this chaos.
Your Honor, let's set the display of vehicle registration for a pretrial. And for the proof of insurance, the city's satisfied that she has insurance.
Okay, I'll dismiss the insurance citation. I'll enter a not guilty plea on the other one. We'll give you a final pretrial date You can call Mr. Brodkey and see if you can get things settled.
Okay.
If not, then we'll set it on for a trial, okay?
Okay, thank you.
If you get it settled, you won't have to come back.
Okay.
Just give me a call when you get
And your initial on that piece of paper?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. Oh, this one,
Do you have,
Yeah, he's gonna.
do you have a notice for her?
I'm getting it.
Okay,
One
sorry.
second, that's all right. It's too much tonight.
Hmm.
Were you at the place when that happened? Were you at the scene when that happened? Okay, so you know what I'm talking about. Okay, okay. 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 Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Have a great night, guys.
Thank you, you too. City versus Alyssa Garvey. You're Ms. Garvey?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Garvey, is your last name spelled Garvey?
Yes.
And you live on Mifflin Street in Madison?
No, I just moved last week.
Okay, can we have your new address, please?
Sure, it's going to be 130-132 East Gorham.
Gorham, Gorham.
And then Unit H.
Okay. What's the zip?
53703.
Okay. You'll need to update that with DMV too. Okay.
Yep.
Ms. Garvey, you're charged with speeding by 19 miles per hour over the posted limit. Do you understand what that means?
Yes.
And Mr. Brodkey, does the city have an offer for the defendant?
Your Honor, we can do 1 to 9 miles per hour over, a 3-point deduction, and $98.80 forfeiture.
Ms. Garvey, do you understand what that means?
Yes.
And how do you wish to plead?
No contest.
All right. I will find you guilty to the amended citation. I do find a factual basis for your plea. Mr. Brodkey, does the city have anything further to add?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right. Ms. Garvey, is there anything you want to tell me?
No.
Okay. All right. I'll order a forfeiture, including costs of $98.80. I'll give you 30 days to pay that. Do you think you'll need more time?
No.
You sure?
Yeah, I'll be able to pay it in 30 days.
Okay. We'll give you a copy of the judgment with information on how to pay, and then you're free to go.
Okay.
Thanks
so much, guys. Have a good night.
Thank you, you too. Let's see.
Bingham?
Yep. Randall Bingham. Mr. Bingham, do you still live on Cherokee Drive in Edgerton?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you are charged with non-registration of a motor vehicle. Do you understand what that means?
Yes, sir.
Is the vehicle registered now?
It is.
Fantastic.
Your Honor, the city moves to dismiss the citation.
All right, dismissed. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We'll give you a copy of the judgment for your records. All right, is there anybody else who's here for 5 o'clock initial appearances? Come on up, please, ma'am. I'm sorry, I couldn't.
My
hear you.
apologies for being late.
Oh, don't worry, we're running late. What's your name, please?
Sherry Nelson.
Nelson?
Yes, Nelson.
Great. Let me just pull up your file, please, ma'am. And Ms. Nelson, do you still live on Macomb Road in Stoughton?
Yes,
You are charged with speeding by 15 miles per hour over the posted limit. Do you understand what that means?
yes.
Mr. Brodkey, does the city have an offer?
Your Honor, the city is willing to amend it to 1 to 9 miles per hour over, a 3-point deduction, and $98.80 forfeiture.
Ma'am, do you understand the city's offer?
Yes, I understand, and I would plead no contest and accept.
Okay.
That's okay.
I will find a factual basis for your plea. I'll find you guilty. Mr. Brodkey, any further comment?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Ms. Nelson, anything you want to tell me?
No.
Okay. Then I will order $98.80, including costs. Do you need more than 30 days to pay that?
No, but do you happen to know what the convenience fee is for credit cards and debit cards?
Oh, no, I don't.
Okay. That's okay. I'll look it up,
I
or
believe it's $1.50, but I don't.
I'll find out.
$1.50, something like that.
Okay.
Or you can pay downstairs with no fee.
Oh, I can. I was reading it and misunderstood that.
Yeah, downstairs.
That's great. I misunderstood that part.
Okay.
I'll do that.
Caswell is the next one.
Thank you. All right, thank you, ma'am. City versus Caswell.
I'm used to it. Let's just go with it.
Ma'am, are you Desiree Caswell?
Yes,
All right. And do you still live on Waveland Road in Janesville?
correct.
Okay. You have 2 speeding citations. The first is speeding by 15 miles per hour over the posted limits. And that was at 5 p.m. on July 8th. And then earlier that day at 8:17 a.m., you were cited for speeding by 24 miles per hour over the posted limits. Do you understand the nature of both those charges?
Yes, it was not the same day though, so that's incorrect. It was 2 different days.
Well,
7/5 would have been the morning
let me
one.
just make sure.
Oh, sure, no problem.
Because that might matter. You're right, I'm sorry. One was on July 5th, the other was on July 8th. Mr. Brodkey, does the city have an offer for the defendant?
Your Honor, for the July 8th one, 11 to 15 miles per hour over, the city does not have an offer. Regarding the July 5th one, the 20 to 24 miles per hour over, the city is willing to amend it to 15 and 19 miles per hour over, which I believe is a 4-point deduction, and we would keep the forfeiture the same.
So $149.20.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
I missed a lot of
Yep,
that
that's
because
fine.
I don't have the citation number.
Okay.
All I have is citation numbers.
Okay, so citation number ending 610-1.
Thank you.
The city is offering to amend to allege speeding by 15 over. And then with respect to the citation ending 753-4, the city is not willing to offer any amendment. Ms. Caswell, how do you wish to plead?
Not guilty to both citations.
Okay, that's fine. We'll give you notice of a final pretrial date so you can talk to Mr. Brodkey and see if you can work out something you like better. If not, then we'll set the matters on for trial.
Perfect.
Okay?
Thank you.
And if you do get it worked out, you won't have to come back.
All right, perfect.
Thank you for waiting.
Do I need?
He's going to hand you something.
Yeah, hang on.
Thank
We'll
you.
give you the written notice so you know when to call and what number to call.
Thank you.
Nothing's going right. For both of them.
Thank you. Thank you everyone for your time.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else for 5 o'clock?
I think Mr. Hammis is here, and he did have a rescheduled initial appearance. I don't know if you know,
Yep.
he has 3 different things
Okay.
tonight. I don't know if you want to.
Well, let's take Mr. Barr, was it?
Berea.
Barra, thank you. And how do I find that file? Yeah. Do you know how to find it?
It should be in the list of
B-A-R?
B-E-R-R.
Oh, B-E, okay, sorry, looking in the wrong place.
You had asked for this. And it's a letter from him. I don't know what you want
Okay. All right, it's calling City versus Barra. I have 3 citations. There's one for speeding by 18 miles per hour over the posted limit, another for operating while intoxicated, and another for operating with a prohibited blood alcohol concentration in excess of 0.15. Counsel, could you please state your appearances for the record?
Yes, Your Honor. Andrew Barra appears together with his attorney Gregory E. Knoke, Knoke.
Mr. Brodke appears for the city.
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right. So, counsel, I've received a petition for a stay. Well, I've received a document labeled petition for stay that in the body of the petition requests a judicial review of administrative suspension issued by DOT on July 31st. And then further, Counsel, as I understand it, you want a judicial review of DOT's administrative suspension, is that right?
Yes, and in talking with the prosecutor, apparently that's not something that has been presented to this court before, and I've been in this business since they started the administrative process, DOT hearings, and I understand that, and I'm fully behind that. I've had tragedy in my family with drunk drivers, and I believe that's a great process. I know it was triggered by people stacking.
I'm sorry, could you speak up a little bit, please?
I think it was triggered by people stacking OWI tickets, and they'd have 4 or 5 of them, and they were getting in accidents. So it's a program that should be here, and this isn't a derogation of that. I practice in Greene County. I've been there since '74, and Rock County and Lafayette County, and the administrative suspensions are without exception. A stay is granted until the case is resolved. So that's why I submitted it. I think Attorney Brodsky and I will be able to resolve the underlying case. I think it's set for September 4th. The reason for, there are good reasons for a stay in Andrew's case. First of all, he has a good driving record. Secondly, he wasn't out, at night creating mischief. Unfortunately, he golfed with a buddy in the morning and had too much to drink and was on his way home. the reason for stay until we can resolve this, and I think we'll have it resolved by mid-September, is the fact that Andrew works for a company and they're working out of state right now. And I've presented a letter to the court outlining the fact that he has excellent standing with the employer. I know Andrew's, well, his grandma and grandpa, they're gone now. I know his uncle, and I know his dad, I know his aunt. And they've all indicated to me this is out of character for Andrew. Andrew has told me and his family he hasn't touched a drop of alcohol since this day occurred. And he's looking to get in some counseling in advance with the AODA people of the county. So I think there's a basis for granting the stay until we can have a hearing that I would think would, you know, and I really don't know that we'll have a hearing, but I think that he's entitled to ask for a judicial hearing. I'm entitled to due process time to prepare for that, as is the city prosecutor. So I would ask that the stay be granted at this time, and we're going to be back here, I think, September 4th. And I'm hoping that council and I will come up with a sensible solution. In the meantime, Andrew's company has him working, I think it's in Minnesota.
Yep.
And boy, it's the difference between probably keeping his job and not keeping his job. Now, I suppose the court might say, well, why don't we just get this all over with? And tonight, well, I haven't had a chance to work out a resolution with council, so that's why I'm here. I came over here rather than trying to appear by Zoom or whatever was set up, and I appreciate that. But, you know, I've been doing this 52 years, and people say, why are you doing it? It's because of young guys like this that need help. And I'm doing this pro bono because I think that he is a good lad, and I think he made a big mistake. But I can see maybe some people I've known in the past that had too many beers golfing on a Saturday morning, and why we have these carts driving around on golf courses selling beer like crazy to these people, beyond me. It's the whole thing in our economy, you know. Drink, but you know, we're a conflicted economy in that regard. We continue to encourage people to entertain themselves with alcohol, and then we don't teach them good rules about common sense, I guess. So I'd ask for a stay at least until September 4th, and I'll be back here with Andrew at that time. Hopefully we'll have this buttoned up.
Mr. Brodkey.
Yeah, Your Honor, so as defendant's counsel noted, I've never seen a request of this sort, so I read up on it. You know, I believe it's in the city's interest, the idea of having the stay, you know, particularly in this case, and I won't get into the underlying facts, but I certainly believe that the facts merit a stay normally. However, I was not aware from the paper filing that essentially what counsel is asking for is an interim, assuming that we can get it done on September 4th. We've had a preliminary discussion. If you don't mind, I think that it might make sense if he and I could talk for 2 minutes just to get an understanding of the likelihood that we can actually get it done on September 4th. Because if that likelihood is very high, then the city may be inclined to just say, okay, well, then we don't necessarily need a stay. So I'd like to just talk to him for quite literally 2 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, and
well, hang on. Now it's my turn. So, counsel, you're correct. In my role as the Stoughton Municipal Judge, this is the first time I've come across this issue. But I'm new to the bench here. Prior to that, I was an assistant district attorney in Rock County for 28 years. And in that role, I've come across this. Now, my understanding is that I don't have the legal authority to do what you want me to do tonight, because The statute, to me, seems to say, and please, gentlemen, correct me if I'm misreading this. I'm looking at 343-305 sub 8 sub C 1, which states that if, in part, if the individual seeks judicial review, he or she must file a request for judicial review with the court within 20 days of the issuance of the hearing examiner's decision. I will find for the record, since finally tonight I got a copy of the department's order dated July 31st, and we did receive the defendant's request on August 15th, so it's timely. The court then shall send a copy of the request to the department. And here's the thing that I need some clarification from you guys on. The judicial review shall be conducted at the time of the trial of the underlying offense. Under 346-63, the prosecutor of the underlying offense shall represent the interests of the department. My understanding is that this judicial review takes place at the trial, and the reason for that, beyond what you cited, is so that we aren't going through the facts of the case twice.
I agree with that. Yep.
Okay, well, we're not having a trial tonight, so unless you've got some other statutory authority that I don't know about.
You mean as far as the
We
stay?
can't do this tonight.
As far as the stay itself, Your Honor?
Yes.
Yeah, well, I think it's within the court's discretion. I'll represent it as a servant of the court.
Show me some legal authority for that.
Yeah, well, I apologize to the court, I'm unprepared for that, but both branches in Greene County and Lafayette County, they issue the stays pending the hearing. Otherwise, the reason for the hearing is, moot. There's no reason to have a hearing. Yeah.
Like I said, if counsel think I'm reading the wrong statute or misreading the statute or whatever, I'd be happy to be educated on this. But the way I see it, I don't have the authority to do what you're asking me to do, not tonight anyway.
Well, the statute doesn't say that the statute says that you're entitled to conduct a review of the administrative suspension. And as part of that review, I think you have the inherent authority to enter a stay. I've never had, what happens, Your Honor, is these stays are issued, filed, and the Clerk of Circuit Court sends it into DOT. DOT, I know, because I've worked with them so much, if they said, you can't do that, it'd be kicked back, and they're not kicking them back. So, I'm willing to submit something to this court tomorrow with something from DOT that says, yes, we honor these, and the courts do have the authority.
I'm not interested in DOTs, what DOT might do. I want, if you've been practicing for 50-odd years, you know that sometimes a judge says, I want you to give me legal authority because this is a point on which the judge is unfamiliar or thinks that the judge might be wrong. There aren't very many judges, I'm sure you know, who are willing to say, I might be wrong. I can't think of a time I ever heard a judge say that. But I'm saying it.
Yeah.
So if the two of you can find that I have legal authority to do this, I would enter into whatever stipulation you want to enter into. Well, I won't guarantee that. We're dealing with a drunk driving case here. This isn't something like a simple license suspension.
Right.
And I have to consider that as well, because what happens if your client goes out tomorrow and plows into a school bus? That's another thing I have to consider. Because if this is a discretionary decision on my part, and I don't think you're disputing that, right?
No.
Okay. If I have the discretion to do this, first you've got to show me that I have that discretion, and I'm not sure that I do. But secondly, you got to give me a better reason than what you have so far as to why I should do that, because I have to consider the public safety interest.
Well, and his other option, maybe he just gets an occupational license.
Gets what?
Maybe he just gets an occupational license because he's eligible for one now, so.
Right, but he's got to be convicted first.
No, the suspension, you can get an occupational license based on the DOT suspension.
If you want to go that route,
Yeah, I apologize, I had no idea that this wasn't something routine with your court as it is in the other ones I practice in, so I'll do two things. I'm gonna advise him on the occupation, and I'll send a memo to you and council as far as the state authority, something that is other than DOT saying, yeah, we're okay with that. All right?
All right, thank you.
That's only here to the ID exemption.
Okay.
If you wanted to take that maybe beforehand.
Yeah, I do.
All they need is the information and then
And what's his name? Colby?
Andre Koki.
Mr. Colby?
Good evening.
Sure doesn't look like it. I know
I
it.
thought that was him.
It's getting late. Mr. Colby, what can I do for you?
Also, I'm here to get a vehicle exempt out of my name.
I've seen him, but I don't recall exactly. I just assumed that was him.
Nope.
So he's not gonna show up.
No, that's Jim. Okay.
I just need the vehicle. Did you bring the vehicle information? Good, that's what I mainly need.
Yeah, come on. Yeah.
And then generally you have them swear that.
It's a 1994 Chevy Lumina. That's what it's like. That's right.
That's what I need.
Okay.
Can I keep this, or do you need this back?
Yeah, I got a lot of phone numbers on there. If you could, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
You know, not too.
Please do that.
A lot of people I had to call to get here. Thank you.
We usually have them swear under oath that that is the only car, no, that he will. Okay. Can't even talk today.
It's okay.
And then this is a Lumina. Is that a Lumina?
Yes.
Chevy Lumina?
1994
Thank you.
Euro Sport, if that's needed.
What is it?
Euro Sport, EURO Sport.
Okay. So what I will send this to the DOT once the judge approves this, so we don't give you the form.
Okay.
It's okay.
Can't hand the form out to anyone.
Thank you.
Because it goes directly to the DOT. Okay. Fraud. So.
Mr. Colby, can you raise your right hand, please? Do you solemnly swear that what you are about to tell me in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do, Your Honor.
All right. So, under oath, do you swear that this 1994 Chevy Lumina, or Chevy Eurosport, is the only vehicle titled in your name right now?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Then I will grant the petition, and we'll give you a written copy before you leave.
I can't
Oh.
print out the form because they've.
You
had
don't need a
problems with
signature
fraud.
for me on it?
I have a signature on the computer, I forget that.
Okay.
But
Do we give him a copy?
no, I can't hand that out because they've had issues
Will we
with
mail it
fraud.
to him?
No, he can't see the form. He just, I will notify the DOT tomorrow. I will get.
Yeah,
it
they
to
said
them.
it's a process, and you will, so I had to get in touch with you guys and Madison. Will this be converted over to Madison? Like, so they will know, or just
Just
here?
the DOT.
Yeah.
Okay,
We
yeah,
only-
she gave me a lot of information. I just want to
Yeah.
make sure I'm doing the right
So
thing.
we will send this to the Department of Transportation.
And that will take care of it.
That
Okay.
should take care of it. If not, come on back and we'll see what else we need to do, okay?
All right.
Email it to them tomorrow, so they should have their records updated tomorrow.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. Thank you,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you. Sorry to make you wait.
And they've had issues with fraud, so we
Yeah,
can't
I get
give
it.
that form out, but.
All right, well, I will call City versus James Hammes.
Is Mr. Hammes here?
No.
Okay, let me just check the hallway.
Oh, he knows better than that.
I just thought that was him. I don't know
No.
who that guy was.
No, he was about 6 inches too tall and about 15 pounds too heavy. And a lot more hair.
Yeah, I just
And
don't-
bald. Yeah.
Okay.
So, I didn't see anybody in the hallway.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
do you want to hear?
Well, hang on.
Okay.
He has 3 items for tonight. He has a
Yeah.
rescheduled initial.
First,
Yeah.
I'm going to call City versus James Hammis, citation for operating after suspension. The record will reflect the defendant is not here. I will find him guilty by default and order a forfeiture and cost totaling $98.80, due forthwith. Now, as far as all of his other matters, what can you tell me, Mr. Brodke?
Yeah, so Your Honor, I submitted a letter to the court on the 19th. I don't know
You did see it.
if you saw that. It sounds like Ms. Geisman said you did. So here's sort of the deal. Normally, the collection of judgments is the province of the court. I believe that there's statutory authority for the court to collect judgments that it enters against defendants, at least municipal courts.
Yep.
So at the same time, this was a document that I believe is Mr. Hammis' citation history from a long time, and I think most recently 2023 until 1995, or vice versa. I think that there's collection concerns and sort of difficulty regarding citations adjudicated prior to 2019. Obviously, again, that's to the discretion of the court, but I think that, and Mr. Hammis has agreed in principle, and we've had conversations over the phone and through email about this, that provided that he pays $1,000 a month for citations adjudicated after 2019, the city would recommend to the court that judgments prior to 2019 be forgiven or dismissed. To that end, I think that we would need some clarity from the court regarding if there's any additions to the citation report to sort of clarify that. So that's the first thing. I don't know if you have any comments or any thoughts on that?
Yeah, actually, before we go any further, I did notice that at least one of these, the city of Stoughton is not a party. I see one where he was adjudicated guilty on November 18, 2015, junk storage prohibited, and it looks like that's the town of Dunkirk. I don't know if there are any others. So that couldn't be part of any agreement you may have entered into with Mr. Hammis, obviously.
Agreed, Your Honor.
Yeah, okay. So I think you're right as far as my authority to dismiss these ancient judgments. At least I think you're right. Let's say for the sake of argument you are. Is he really going to pay $1,000 a month? I mean, what's the enforcement mechanism?
Your Honor, how I sort of envision this is that this is the framework, right? And that we would enter a formal stipulation with the court effectuating that. So whether that's if failure to pay, results in some judgment or some enforcement by the court itself, or if it's just a contractual dealing. I mean, I think that those would be the potential enforcement mechanisms.
No, I don't think so. I think all I can really do is I can order his license suspended. Well, it's been suspended for years. That doesn't seem to get his attention or get him to pay anything. We can send it to collections. Why haven't we sent any of this to collections?
He was sent to collections, they kept it for 3 years and weren't able to, so they returned it to us. They weren't able to collect any money.
Okay,
The last
so,
time he was in court, he claims he has been paying money, but we've never gotten any of it in to the state, a judgment. I don't know if he talked to you about that he was claiming that he is.
Yeah, it's unclear, right, it's unclear to me, because Mr. Hammis has represented that he's paying something to somebody. It's not clear to me, and I've never been provided proof by the court or him that those payments are toward judgments of this court.
We've never gotten any money.
I would be willing to bet that we're not the only entity that's ordered him to pay forfeitures or some other actions. I'd be surprised if we were the only ones. The only other thing I can do is order a warrant for him. And I'm pretty confident that the sheriff of Dane County doesn't want to hold Mr. Hammis. It's extremely frustrating to the court that Mr. Hammis is not here to speak for himself or tell us what he's going to do. So, I'm not going to take any action on this tonight. I want Mr. Hammis here before I do anything further.
I have to have him served, because that's the only way
Yep.
he shows up.
Yep. Do we have room on the docket for September 4th?
That's juvenile night, but I
I
could do
know.
September 11th. Oh, you would want him here with the juveniles?
Make him wait. He's
Okay.
made us wait.
I guess 6 o'clock we could do, yeah.
Do we have any idea how many
Well,
juvenile cases we have?
We have probably 25 juvenile cases that are scheduled for hearings to go over their issues from the previous year. That's the date we set for this, so it is a
Okay,
busy.
yeah, let's do it
6
September
o'clock,
11th.
September 11th,
And Your Honor, on the 11th, I believe that there's a trial in this court.
That's right, you're correct.
That said, I think we can tentatively schedule it for the 11th and just work around it.
Okay, I'm gonna order him to appear personally. And if he doesn't, then we're going to take the contempt route, because this is the second hearing in a row where I've ordered him to appear. The first time he didn't appear because of the birth of a grandchild, and assuming that's true, that's not a bad excuse. But I can't imagine why he wasn't here tonight. He was aware of it, and his track record says that he doesn't really put much weight into orders of this court. So we'll see what happens on the 11th. If he's not here, then I'll have to consider what happens next. Anything further on that, Mr. Brodkey?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. I mean, do you have any other suggestions?
No, Your Honor. I mean, I think that this is sort of the. I think that there's something to be said that it seems like the older judgments there's just a collectability issue in itself.
Sure.
But Your Honor's points are appreciated that. Well, how are you going to guarantee that Mr. Hammis pays pursuant to this deal? So I suppose in the interim I'll do some research to see what enforcement powers may exist.
Well, yeah, I mean, as I understand it, municipal courts don't really have a whole lot of authority for that. Apparently, we've tried the collections route through the state, but I strongly suspect there are a lot of other creditors, if you will, who are standing in line ahead of us. And they probably get the money from tax intercepts or whatever before we do. So, okay, do we have anything else on the docket for tonight?
I have 2 things to go over with you.
On the record?
On the record, yeah.
Okay.
First one is we had a second OWI that did not appear, so you will need to make your order for that one.
Okay.
The name is John Peter Surrell, S-U-R-R.
Okay. City versus Surrell, S-U-R-R-E-L-L. Mr. Surrell did not appear tonight. I will find him guilty by default.
He has paid the citation.
Right.
$961, I believe, is the amount.
I'll order judgment in the amount of $961. My understanding is that's been posted.
Paid, yes.
Okay.
And he blew a .08.
I will order him to do the drunk driving assessment program. It was a .08, so there's no ignition interlock.
And the revocation.
Revocation is 6 months.
Okay. Thank you.
And Mr. Bradkey, if you don't mind sticking around a little bit, I'd appreciate it. Okay?
There's one additional one, Vang Few. Wow, too much paperwork.
It was a long night.
Sent in this online. He's paid the citation, but he's looking for still a reduction.
Okay. In City versus Vang, B-A-N-G is the last name. He has sent a letter to the court indicating that he would like to plead guilty or no contest, but he'd also like to negotiate an alternate disposition. So I'm going to find him pleading not guilty. We'll send him written notice of a final pretrial conference to discuss the matter with Mr. Brodkey.
He did pay the citation.
Yeah, he's already posted. Any others?
Those were the two main
Okay.
ones that we had to talk about.
Any other matters that I have not called, I will find the defendants guilty by default. I will order by way of penalty forfeiture and costs in the amounts shown on the citations, and grant all the defendants who have not posted 30 days to pay. Anything else?
No.
All right, with that, we're adjourned.
And this, if you want to take home and review.
Yeah, thank you.